everyone. I just want to say that you all look great in your Family Day shirts. So first, let's give ourselves a round of applause for our shirts. So on behalf of New Student Programs and Comet Families, I want to welcome you all to the 2017 Family Day. There's a lot of you in the audience, so we want to thank you for spending your Saturday with us. How many of you have not seen your students since you dropped them off? Great, 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 great. How many students are excited to see their families? Just raise your hand. Just do it. Great job, great job. So today really is about you all. Once your student became a part of the Comet family, you guys became a part of the Comet family. So feel free to do as much or as little as you want, but make sure that you spend a lot of time with your student. We have a couple of campus leaders who are going to talk to you, and then I will be back to bring you more about the program. But first, I would like to welcome the president of this great institution, Dr. Richard Benson.
Thank you, Brianna, and good morning, Comets. It's good to see you all. This is great. Thanks for the moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and all the friends. Thanks for visiting our beautiful campus. I like Brianna's comment about family. As long as I've been in education, I've always taken real joy in the family aspect, the extended family aspect of university life. I've enjoyed getting to know the students that I taught. But special moments would come at times like this, like Family Day or maybe graduation, where the brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers would come to us. And it was always so nice to kind of connect with them when I knew their student, if you will, so well. And it was kind of a beautiful thing, really, to put the two communities together. And again, Brianna had the right comment on it. It really is family. So, of course, we have welcomed many mostly young, not all of them young, men and women to campus to become part of the UT Dallas family. And it's nice that you would share a little bit of your family with us. And I also want to echo something else that Brianna said in very short comments. She hit it all. But please make, so if we're all an extended family, please make UT Dallas your extended home. Wonderful things happen here. First and foremost, we provide a great education to a lot of really smart and hardworking people. So we take great pride in that. But this is a fun place to be. The campus is beautiful. I'm sure you've taken note of it. There's other fun things to do. There's sporting events, including a good volleyball game today at 2 o'clock. But we have a lot of ranked teams here. They're fun to watch. There's a lot of good music and art. And in fact, on art, we just opened an art gallery on the north end of campus. So maybe you might want to poke your head in there sometime soon. If not on this trip, then maybe an upcoming trip. But again, this is a great environment, a great place to get an education, just a great place to live. So I want to thank you all to the extended family members for making UT Dallas part of your lives, and I wish you well. I'm sure we'll be crossing paths any number of times in the coming years, and I think the most joyous day will be on graduation when again your students walk across campus and depart with one of those really precious UT Dallas degrees. So thanks again for visiting. Go Comets. Whoosh.
They're fighting over who's going to introduce me, and I won. It's okay, Dr. Benson. You can do whatever you want. I'm Amanda Smith. I'm the Associate Vice President for Student Affairs and the Dean of Students here at the University of Texas at Dallas. I'm delighted to welcome you here today and see so many familiar faces. How many of you were at orientation this summer? Okay, so that's why so many of you look familiar to me. How many of you, this is your first visit to our campus? Fantastic. We are so happy to have you all here. Family Day is one of our fastest growing traditions on this campus. If you came here today wondering what to expect, I can give you a little bit of an idea. I'm sure at some point in time you've all attended an open house for your students' K through 12th grade experience. The open house for my daughters, it always consists of some kind of macaroni art on the wall, and then also, right, and also teachers using creative adjectives to describe problematic behavior because they're trying to keep it a celebration. Well, our Family Day is a little bit like an open house, although we don't have to use creativity and macaroni art or adjectives because your students are doing great. I can tell you that some amazing things have been happening since school started, academically, socially, through service and leadership. But because I'm a product of the 70s and a little bit nostalgic, I have decided to keep things a little bit old school today and give you a little show and tell experience. So I present to you, Brianna, there, the Dean of Students scrapbook. How many of you have students who live on campus? A lot of you. So this should be a familiar sight for you, right? These gigantic orange rolling bins will live in every peer advisor's memories for probably way too long. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's been happening on our campus since you left your students here on that day. One of our campus traditions is our weeks of welcome. The first 2 weeks of the fall semester are a time of reuniting with old friends. For our freshmen, it's making new friends, and for everyone, becoming fully immersed in the Comet experience. We had 45 events in over just 2 weeks this year. So I'm going to give you a quick look at some of those events. It all started with the Welcome Back Bash, which was held after convocation. As you can see, there are a large number of students, around 2,000 that attended that event. We also dedicated our very first TMOC mascot uniform that was created 20 years ago. It lives over in the visitor center, so I encourage you, if you have time today, or if you want to scare a small child, to walk over there, take a look at it. It's come a long way in 20 years. So I'm going to go off script for just a minute because they love it when I do that. So TMOC's going to be here today, and he's selling his very own calendar for $10 to benefit our Spirit program. But lucky you, I'm going to give you a sneak peek at those calendar pictures right now. Are you ready? Here it is. Take it all in. I'm sure you can figure out which one is February. I think the one next to it is my favorite. You can't look at February for too long. Okay, back to our program, Brianna, I'm sorry. So during our weeks of welcome, we also held our annual Comet Beach Luau over in our apartment pool area. We had our senior breakfast to honor that special group of students, and we celebrated it over in our brand new Alumni Center. It's a beautiful place. I also encourage you to take a walk through there today and find the future home for your student when they graduate. We had fraternity and sorority life recruitment events. We also have a huge outdoor water park out in our ball fields that's sponsored by our University Recreation and Fraternity and Sorority Life. And then one of our more unique events, it's called the Silent Disco, and I told some of you parents about this at the orientations. So if you notice, each one of those little glowing lights is a headphone, okay? So the students put these headphones on, and they can choose from a variety of genres of music, and then they dance. So it's quiet in there, right? You see 400 students dancing to silence. That's another reason why it's one of my favorite events to watch, but also because of the quiet. So a few weeks after our weeks of welcome, our Career Center hosted a 3-day career fair, which they do every fall. This year we had 221 employers come to campus and meet with over 4,300 students. We also had a brand new event this year called Comet Day, where students had an opportunity to express their Comet spirit. We pulled out the life-size chess pieces and let students challenge our chess team, which you can actually do today. I tried that once, but when I showed up, the player was going to play me blindfolded, and I decided there's only so much humiliation I'm willing to withstand. And they are seriously that good. And perhaps I'm seriously that bad. We had a Texas party where we helped our international students learn all there is to know about being a Texan. There was a mechanical bull, there were live armadillo races, none were harmed. And yes, Team Out dressed as Big Tex, I know. I think the guy down there on the mechanical bull probably regretted his decision to get on. And then that brings us to today, which is our family day. And I'm gonna take a quick picture so that I can put you all in my scrapbook next year. There you go. I was going to try to do a selfie, but I haven't perfected that art yet. So, okay, some of the traditions I'm going to talk to you about occur after today. And we're going to start with homecoming, which is held in November. This is the cardboard boat regatta that you're looking at. Our students actually build boats out of just cardboard and duct tape. The number one goal is to keep it afloat, but then they actually race to see who can make it across the rec center pool the fastest. It's so much fun to watch that. We have the nighttime 5K, which is a run that goes through our campus. And then we also have a music celebration that we call Home Fest, a street fair that we call Comet Street, and a parade and tailgate party. Next semester, the International Center will host a week of events that we call International Week. A couple of these events include Passport to the World, where students from different countries can actually showcase their customs in food and clothing. And then we have a huge talent show that always reminds us just how talented our students are beyond their academic aptitude. Over spring break, our Office of Student Volunteerism schedules 10 trips for students to participate in. They provide community service both in our state and also out of it. Last year, around 100 students spent their entire week donating 3,800 service hours, which totaled almost $100,000 in volunteer labor, which is awesome. Our Student Union and Advisory Board hosts a week of fun after spring break that they call Spring-a-Palooza. One of the highlights of that week is their annual splatter dance, and as you can see, it involves paint, a lot of paint. That's really hard to get out of stuff. We also have pretty big name guests or comedians that come to campus. This guy showed up last year. Yeah, there were a lot of bills that week. You can notice he's got on an orange and green bow tie, though. He has the comic spirit when he was here. And he was standing right here on this very stage. And then we wrap each year up with our graduating seniors dunking their rings in the reflection pool right outside. We celebrate commencement, and then the sun sets on another year, and we start all over again. So this brings us to the end of my scrapbook. It has been very, very fun to share these pictures with you. You're a great audience. You're here because you love your student, and I hope you'll love our campus, and I hope, like Dr. Benson said, you'll think of this as an extension of your home. If you would like more of us, I invite you to follow Dr. Jean Fitch, who is our Vice President for Student Affairs on Twitter, or me on Instagram. If you want, you can take a picture of our handles. You don't have to try to find it right now. I usually put handles in quotes because students love it when you do that. They also like it when you put D in front of words like Facebook or Google, but you have to sound like you're confused. Is it on the Google? So I've actually been on the Instagram now for 2 years, but I have never posted a picture. So the one that I took a few minutes ago, you're part of my history because it will become my very first post. Yes. So anyway, I would like to thank you all for being here today. I look forward to chatting with you once this session is over. And I'm very proud to bring to the stage J.W. Vandershans, one of my favorite students and our student government president.
How's it going, everyone? In the vein of being a student, I decided to write this speech about 15 minutes ago, just to really relate to you all. That was a sacrifice I had to make. But as Dr. Smith said, my name is J.W. Vandershans. I'm the student government president here at UT Dallas. I'm a senior, so I'm somewhat seasoned with UTD, and I kind of know the experiences that we can have. Dr. Smith kind of showed you a small caption of the more formalized events that we can have, the experiences that we can make that are official on the comic calendar, but she doesn't really speak to the idea of the unspoken experiences that we have. You know, I think it's funny that I was invited to speak on Family Day because, oddly enough, my family technically started at UTD. My dad actually proposed to my mom in the 90s at UTD. It was weird because, yeah, right? It was weird because neither of them actually went here, but UTD at the time didn't have a lot of buildings, so my dad had planned on getting a plane to fly across, and he needed an open view. So he came here. Sadly, the plane didn't fly over in the time that he wanted, so he just asked anyways. And as they drove away from the campus, he saw the plane flying over. So I guess there are a few lessons that come out of that. First off, you can't really expect anything. My dad's not the best planner. That the experiences at UTD may be something that you can never imagine happen to you, and that the surroundings at UTD have fundamentally changed. So at UTD in the 90s, there was nothing compared to what it is now. Just in my time here, the ATEC building, this whole building, just opened up. The second half of JSOM opened up. We have a new mechanical engineering building going in. The Alumni Center was put in. All of these changes are happening just in a 4-year span, so you can imagine what the next 27 years will be like, what the last 27 years between now and my dad proposing was, and the overall change that UTD has really made. So I say this because as family, we all want to know what the education that our students, what our siblings, what our significant others, what our sons and daughters are having. And that education is growing with them. I think that other institutions that have already grown don't give this opportunity. So UTD's in a unique place to change with how the student changes. Give us the opportunity to impact that change instead of going to something that's already in place and already stable. And I can tell you that the experience of them proposing and my personal experience is validating the idea of being impacted by what UTD has to offer, formally and informally. I can tell you from personal experience that the professional and personal connections that I've made with people are connections, A, I didn't imagine I could make, and B, are connections that I will have for the rest of my life. And I'm confident that I can say that with pride, with Comet pride to an extent. But your student, kind of related to all of you and why you're here, is having that similar experience, is having that opportunity to grow professionally and personally, to have these connections with people that they can't go a week without seeing, a week without talking to, something that we've never really uniquely experienced. Academically, professionally, and in overall social standards, UTD is really good as well. Some of you at orientation remember that I said that in Times Higher Education's ranking of universities that have been created in the last 50 years, UTD is #1. We're also one of the most diverse universities in the country, especially in Texas, one of the most accepting universities, and one of the most safe as well. My sister is a freshman at another university, so kind of the big brother mentality is, what's she doing, who's she with, who's this guy in an Instagram picture, all of these different things. And I know that at UTD, I don't necessarily need to worry about someone like her because it's one of the safest and actually ranked as the safest university in Texas. So there are a lot of these opportunities at UTD that you don't necessarily see anywhere else. And the reason that I want to drill this into your mind, especially with families here, is that you don't need to worry about the future of your student. I have never seen in my conversations with all of my friends in high school that go to different universities, and this isn't me talking ill of them, this is me praising UTD. I've never seen the ability to mold your future and to mold your 4 years in an institution and then afterwards with so much vigor and so much capability that I've seen at UTD. It's an individualized experience. We have over 300 organizations, and that's just the existing ones. Your student has the ability to either join or start a new organization to basically mold their future how they want it to. They're not being thrown into some kind of form that they have to essentially conform to. They're choosing their own lifestyle, which I think isn't fantastic. So take today, meet other people that your student has connected with, see what their day-to-day life is, go and get food, go to the dining trucks, and simply experience what UTD is now, because I can promise you it'll change for the better, but you'll still see the positive attributes and values that our university has. So I want to thank you all for this opportunity to speak to you today. Hope to talk to you all soon. My mom's in the audience, so please talk to her. She's really nice. And she's also married, UTD. And I want to welcome to the stage Brianna again to continue the program.
I'm back. JW didn't advance the slides, so I'm obviously not JW. It's all good, it's okay. All right, so I now have the unique honor to welcome someone to the stage who has been to UTD a lot longer than I have. I've only been here since June, so he's been here a lot longer, I promise, and I'll tell you why. He's actually a 2-time alumnus of this university, and his name is Desmond Blair, and he's gonna give you a little bit more about his story.
Good morning, or is it closer to afternoon? I think it's closer to afternoon. So some of you are probably hungry, so I'll try not to preach a sermon today. But when they asked me to do this, I was really excited because I love to share my experience at UTD, and I love to talk about the university. This is one of the places I think that has really played an important role in who I've become today. So currently, I'm a project manager at Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children. I've been there now for about 4 years, but prior to working for the hospital, I actually worked in the arts and technology program. So I taught for about 3 years and then ended up working on some of our research projects before moving into the area of project management. But I'm here today to talk to you about my student experience, which started about 14 years ago. That's a long time, but it went by very quickly. So those of you who are freshmen, upperclassmen, the family members who are here, enjoy it because it'll breeze by so fast. So flashback 14 years ago to when 512 megs of RAM was considered blistering speed in a CPU. I came to this campus not knowing what to expect, and just as you can see, we'll get the elephant out of the room, out of the way. I was born without hands. So there were a lot of firsts for me coming to UTD. I didn't know what to expect. This was my first time living by myself. That means no assistance from mom with anything, including cooking. I burned a pot of spaghetti in my freshman year. Don't ask how I did it, but I managed to do it, and I had to eat it because I was a student, the whole budgeting, food money type thing. So for about a week, I lived off of burnt spaghetti. But there were a lot of firsts that happened for me at this university. And really, like I said, not knowing what to expect. So way back at that time, there weren't dorms. We had the activity center. There weren't quite as many buildings. And the ATEC building wasn't here yet. We were in that radio TV building, I think, with the antenna. And we had CRT monitors, too. Anybody still know what those are? I'm like dating myself. Just tell me to stop. But basically, I came to the university, again, with, learning how to just live on my own and wash clothes without frantically calling my mom and freaking out. But the benefit of the UTD being where it is, I grew up in Dallas. She's right around the corner. So she's like, I'm going to give you just enough leeway to go out and, have fun, but don't have too much fun because I'm right here and I can be at your apartment in an instant. But I was able to learn a lot by living on my own, whether it came from washing clothes, learning how to not burn spaghetti, living off of hot dogs, calling my mom for gas money when I ran out. Those are some of the day-to-day things, but I think the more important piece was what I got in the classroom and just my general on-campus experience. And what I like to tell people now is that as an alum of UTD twice over, I really got a private school education at a public institution. My classes, my professors, the deans, the administrative staff at the university, they're readily available to the students. They're not, locked off somewhere in a glass case that you only open on special occasions, but they want to know what's going on with the students. And you, just from conversations with my other friends or some of my other colleagues who were at larger universities when I was in school, they didn't have that same access. But that access is what makes a difference because you have administrative staff, professors, educators who are invested and not in your students and not only invested in them, academically, but as they grow professionally and giving them opportunities and encouraging them to push the envelope. So, do I have any ATEC majors in here? Okay, I got a few. You guys will be enough. When I say pushing the envelope, sometimes that means embracing your personality quirks. So if you want to come to class dressed as a skull ninja, you come to class dressed as a skull ninja. There could be research purposes behind that. You never know. But I say all that to say I had those experiences and I was afforded those opportunities here at the university. And, even being a student with a difference, there was never a door closed on me. I had the opportunity to learn, to study, to explore different topics, and I really got into like 3D modeling, so exploring different things with my art. And I'm an artist by background, by trade. And I was able to do all of that here. And the bigger takeaway outside of the classroom is that the students that were here with me, we became a family. So everybody I spent time with in the labs at 3, 4, 5 a.m. outside of the LAN parties to give us a break between doing our schoolwork. Come hook we play PlayStation sometimes too. Probably telling too much, telling myself a little bit too much. But my colleagues, we were really able to form a bond, and that really helped with us being able to work on projects together, being able to push each other, and you develop a cohort. And I think that's one of the other great opportunities of being at a university like this, because you're surrounded by students that will push you. They'll expose you to different things. They'll encourage you to try new things, to read different books, to go see avant-garde movies that you may not ever think you would be interested in. All of that happened right here. And so how did my family play into that? Well, again, my mom and I, when I first graduated from college, we were trying to figure out where I was going to go, because she's one of those, like, tiger moms, like, you're going to do it. You're going to college. We just got to figure out where. And at the time, I was really interested in animation. As JW mentioned, UTD has a lot of firsts. There are a lot of first things that happen here. And so with my interest in animation, everything I was looking at was in California. It was California, and then I found one school in Georgia, Savannah College of Art and Design. But there was nothing in Texas. And so here I am, my senior year, thinking I'm going to have to leave Texas with my talent to go get an education. Then we got to figure out how to pay out state tuition fees. Not only that, but figure out the other costs, and just, how am I going to do all of that? My mom was a single parent, sometimes working 2 jobs. We had to figure all of that out. Well, UTD was the blessing, because around middle of my senior year, she found out about UTD and about this program that was starting called Arts and Technology, right? So basically, at the time, she got some information on it. She said, hey, you know, you don't have to go out of state to study computer animation, gaming, and learn how to do those things and really pursue those things education-wise. So we came out here for a student game developer weekend. Do they still have those? Or am I dating myself again? Okay. But we came out here for a student game development weekend, and I spent the weekend out here at the time as a high school senior, just being able to observe. My mom was able to come out with me. So the university was inviting to her as well, and we spent some time out here really being able to see what that program has to offer. And needless to say, after spending the weekend out here, seeing how nice the campus was, although back then it was smaller, it was a no-brainer that I would come here. And the reason that's important is because a lot of times I think there's tremendous talents in Texas. And you don't ever want to, as a student, senior, in high school, or as a family, feel like you have to send your kid way across the country to get an education that they can get right here in Texas. And I think that's another thing that makes UTD so special. So to kind of sum it all up, what makes the school special? One, it'll push you as a student. Your professors, the administrative staff, they'll push you. They're not afraid to, and they're readily available to help you. So there is that close-knit feeling. Two, your family will be welcome here. Over the course of my time here, my mom got to know both the director and the dean of my school. And sometimes I think she like plotted with them, because I would get like these random emails in the middle of the semester that just said, hey, you need to come see me. But no, like the campus is welcoming to families, and it's not that far away. It feels like home. It has a very home feel. And although it's grown, that feel hasn't gone away. And then third, and I think most importantly, this campus is special because it will encourage or push every student to develop themselves, to embrace their differences, embrace what makes them special, embrace their personality quirks, their physical differences. We celebrate those things here. And that diversity and those things are what really make this university feel like a home. And just kind of end on that note, I was a bit of a nerd in high school. Still am to this day. I never felt more at home anywhere else than I did while I was at UTD. So, I have any nerds in the crowd? It's okay to self-identify. I'm more of like a beta nerd, not quite an alpha nerd, but you know, I embrace that in totality. But basically, I guess to end things, I just want to encourage all the families, the students here today, just to make UTD home while you're here. and really enjoy the time you have here, because it'll go by fast and then you'll be flashing back to so many experiences, and I have nothing but fond memories and things to look back on when I think about my time at UTD. So thank you.
Desmond, that was great. Thank you. Okay, so, you know, how's everybody's Saturday going? Is it great? No, I'm kidding. Okay. So on the back of your schedule that you received when you check in, you will see a map of the activities that are going on today. Don't worry, you don't got to pull it out because I have a copy on the screen. You know, got to be prepared these days. So the map on your schedule or on the screen basically shows you many of the activities that we have going on today, including some of the important things like lunch. Now, let me tell you guys. The weather is great outside. I'm from North Carolina. Apparently, Texas only has 2 seasons, according to my supervisor, summer and not summer. You know, I don't know, but it's great outside apparently. Well, it is great. And so we have food trucks for you guys. I'm pretty sure you saw them all come in. In your welcome packet that you received, you'll have a red ticket, and that is the ticket that you'll use to get a meal during the food truck. Now, the food trucks will be here until 2 o'clock. You do not have to go now, I promise. If you're really hungry, you know, go. But if you're not, go to some of the other activities that we have going on. Each food truck will have 3 options, including 1 vegetarian option. And we have 8 food trucks in total. So, you know, step out of your comfort zone if you want to. If you're really into eggs, there's a food truck that puts eggs on everything. They're literally called the Egg Stand. Sandwiches around the world, you know, we had to do it good for you guys. And, you know, as a university who does a lot of firsts, you guys are the first that we brought food trucks to. So, you know. Another thing that's going on today is how many of you guys in the audience are under the age of 12? You guys probably thought we forgot about you. I promise we didn't. So at about 11:30 during the tailgate, one of the departments on campus will actually be hosting a giant rock, paper, scissors tournament. And they have some pretty great prizes. They will have an opportunity for anybody over 12 and then anybody under 12. So when you go to the tailgate, look for somebody who is in a shirt that says I'm ETD. Tell them that you want to be in the rock, paper, scissors tournament. I promise you the prizes are great, so you definitely want to do it. Another thing we have for you guys, if you notice, we have spirit rocks that are completely right near the activity center. We have spray paint for you guys. If you guys want to have like a bonding moment and go spray paint the rocks, please keep it on the rocks, not the grass, just the rocks. Just the rocks, everyone. But we have spray paint out there for you guys. We'll be making scarves to send to the Samaritan home. You can challenge the chess team. I won't be challenging the chess team, but you guys are more than welcome to challenge the chess team. Of course, we have our volleyball game going on. You guys can get a campus tour from your student. They've been here long enough. They should know where they're going. And if not, they have a campus map, so, you know, they can fake it till they make it, honestly. Okay. For all the students in the room, I want you guys to stand up. Okay, so I want you to look at the people who came all the way to UTD to support you today, and I want you to say thank you on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, all right. That was beautiful, beautiful. Warmed my heart a little bit. If you have any questions throughout the day, feel free to ask anybody in a green polo. We decided to be uniform for you guys so you guys could find us really easily. I also want to thank all the people who spoke today. Thank you guys. They will be around if you have any more questions for them. Feel free to take a lot of pictures today. We have a photographer going around. Okay, it's really one of our students, but you know, he'll take pictures for you guys. And I have a special treat. The Comet TMOC calendar. I have a copy. It's a real thing. TMOC really will be here to take pictures, to sign your calendar. It's as great as Dean Smith made it seem, so, you know, definitely buy it. Okay, February is, you know, you can't look at it too long, like she said, but, you know, everything else, you know, it's fabulous. And I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for coming to Family Day.